Well, hello everyone. We are back reading our final chapters of the book of Numbers, chapters 32 through 36. We are finishing it up, and once we complete this, we will only have 5 more books to read, and we will be starting. I should have already known this information. I should have, but I don't. We're in June, right? Doo-doo-doo. We will be starting the book of Isaiah. Yeah, we're going to be starting the book of Isaiah. Okie dokie. So we're going to finish this up. I'm not sure if I'm going to be on tomorrow because I have to go to work. I probably should have waited till Monday to come back on, but I really wanted to get on. So I'm going to try to come on tomorrow, but I can't guarantee it, all right? But when we come back on Monday, we'll be starting the book of Isaiah, okay? All right. So we're going to drop right in because we just finished up reading the books of Numbers 27 through 31, and we're going to conclude 32 through 36 now. This has been a 2-part broadcast, but I didn't want the broadcast to be super long. The longer the broadcasts are, people kind of, that's a long time to be on listening. So I try to make them as short as I possibly can, all right? Okay, so we're going to drop right back in it, and we are going to complete the book of Numbers. Numbers chapter 32, reading from the Message Bible. Tribes east of the Jordan. The families of Reuben and Gad had huge herds of livestock. They saw that the country of Jazer and Gilead was just a place for grazing livestock. And so they came, the families of Gad and the families of Reuben, and spoke to Moses and Eleazar the priest and the leaders of the congregation, saying, Athroth, Dibon, Jazer, Nimrah, Heshbon, El-Helai, Sebam, Nebo, Benon, the country that God laid low before the community of Israel, is a country just right for livestock. And we have livestock. They continue, if you think we've done a good job so far, give us this country for our inheritance. Don't make us go across the Jordan. Moses answered the families of Gad and Reuben, do you mean that you're going to leave the fighting that's ahead to your brothers while you settle down here? Why would you even think of letting the people of Israel down, demoralizing them just as they're about to move into the land God gave them? That's exactly what your ancestors did when I sent them from Kadesh Barnea to survey the country. They went as far as the valley of Eshcol, took one look, and quit. Has God given you an assignment and you took one look at the assignment, you're like, nope, that's too much, not going to do it. But that's what Moses said, don't do that. They completely demoralized the people of Israel from entering the land God had given them. And God got angry. Oh, did he get angry? He swore they'll never get to see it. None of those who came up out of Egypt, who are 20 years and older, will ever get to see the land that I promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They weren't interested in following me. Their hearts weren't in it. None except for Caleb, son of Jephunneh, the Kenizzite, and Joshua, son of Nun. They followed me. Their hearts were in it. Wow. God's anger smote against Israel. He made them wander in the wilderness for 40 years. What? God made them wander in the wilderness for 40 years until that entire generation that acted out evil in his sight had died out. Why? Because they had no faith. They didn't trust and believe God. What? You want to see things all the time? You want to go, God, lay it all out. When you lay it all out, I'm from the show me state. You got to show me everything. God said, well, you have no faith. You have no trust in me. You don't trust me enough to know that I will take care of everything concerning you. My God. And now here you are, just one more mob of sinners stepping up to replace your ancestors, throwing fuel on on the already blazing anger of God against Israel. If you won't follow it, he'll do it again. He'll dump them in the desert, and the disaster will be all your fault. They came close to him and said, all we want to do is build corrals for our livestock and towns for our families. Then we'll take up arms and take the front lines, leading the people of Israel to their place. We'll be able to leave our families behind. Oh, excuse me. Secure and fortified towns, safe from those who live in the land. But we won't go back home until every Israelite is in full possession of his inheritance. We won't expect any inheritance west of the Jordan. We are claiming all our inheritance east of the Jordan. Moses said, if you do what you say, take up arms before God for battle, and together go across the Jordan ready before God to fight until God has cleansed his enemies out of the land, then when the land is secure, you will have fulfilled your duty to God and Israel. Then this land will be yours to keep before God. But if you don't do what you say, you will be sinning against God. You can be sure that your sin will track you down. What? Sin will track you down. So go ahead, build your towns for your families and your corrals for your livestock. Do what you said you'd do. The families of Gad and Reuben told Moses, we will do as our master commands. Our children and wives, our flocks and herds will stay behind here in the towns of Gilead. But we, every one of us, fully armed, will cross the river to fight for God, just as our master has said. So Moses issued orders for them to Eleazar the priest, Joshua the son of Nun, and the heads of the ancestral tribes of the people of Israel. Moses said, if the families of Gad and Reuben cross the Jordan River with you and before God, all armed and ready to fight, then after the land is secure, you may give them the land of Gilead as their inheritance. But if they don't cross over with you, they'll have to settle up with you in Canaan. The families of Gad and Reuben responded, we will do what God has said. We will cross the Jordan before God, ready and willing to fight. But the land we inherit will be here to the east of the Jordan. Moses gave the families of Gad, Reuben, and the half-tribe of Manasseh, son of Joseph, the kingdom of Shion, king of the Amorites, and the kingdom of Og, king of Bashan, the land, its towns, and all the territories connected with them, the works. The Gadites rebuilt Dibon, Athroth, Aori, Atroth, Shethan, Jazar, Jogbehah, Beth Nimrah, Beth Haran as fortified cities. They also built corrals for their animals. The Reubenites rebuilt Heshbon, Elihai, Kirathimam, also Nebo, Baal-meon, and Sibnah. They renamed the cities that they built. The family of Machir, son of Manasseh, went to Gilead, captured it, and drove out the Amorites who lived there. Moses then gave Gilead to the Machirites, the descendants of Manasseh. They moved in and settled there. Jair, son of Manasseh, captured some villages and named them Havoth, Jair, Jair's tent camps. Nabal captured Kenath and its surrounding camps. He named it after himself, Nabal. Chapter 33. Campsites from Ramses to Jordan, Jericho. These are the camping sites in the journey of the people of Israel after they left Egypt. Deployed militarily under the command of Moses and Aaron. Under God's instruction, Moses kept a log of every time they moved, camp by camp. Log what God does in your life. It will be a memorial to you to remind yourself of what God has done in your life. I just went and bought a new spiral because there's more things that need to be logged. Log what God is doing in your life. All right. They marched out of Ramses the day after the Passover. It was the 15th day of the first month. They marched out heads high and confident. The Egyptians, busy burying their firstborn whom God had killed, watched them go. God had exposed the nonsense of their gods. The people of Israel left Ramses and camped at Succoth, left Succoth and camped at Etham, at the edge of the wilderness, left Etham, circled back to Pi Haroth, east of Baal Zephon, and camped near Migdal, left Pi Haroth and crossed through the sea until the wilderness. 3 days until the wilderness of Etham, they camped at Marah, left Marah and came to Elam, where there were 12 springs and 70 palm trees. They camped there. Left Elam and camped by the Red Sea. Left the Red Sea and camped by the wilderness of Sin. Left the wilderness of Sin and camped by Dophkah. Left Dophkah and camped by Alush. Left Alush and camped by Rephidim, where there was no water for the people to drink. Left Rephidim and camped by the wilderness of Sinai. Left the wilderness of Sinai and camped at Kebroth Havath. Left Kebroth Havath and camped at Hezroth. Left Hezroth and camped at Ritmoth. Left Rithmah and camped at Rimmon Perez. Left Rimmon Perez and camped at Libnah. Left Libnah and camped at Rissa. Left Rissa and camped at Kehalathah. Left Kehalathah and camped at Mount Shephar. Left Mount Shephar and camped at Hardadah. Left Hardadah and camped at Makahoth. Left Machahoth and camped at Tahath. Left Tahath and camped at Terah. Left Terah and camped at Michkah. Left Michkah and camped at Hashmanah. Left Hashmanah and camped at Moresheroth. Left Moresheroth and camped at Ben Jakin. Left Ben Jakin and camped at Hor Haggadag. Left Hor Haggadag and camped at Jotbathna. Jotbathna. Left Jotbathha. I'm saying it wrong. Jotbathha and camped at Abraha. Left Abronaha. That can't get it out. And camped at Ezon Geber. Left Ezon Geber and camped at Kadesh in the wilderness of Zin. After they left Kadesh and camped at Mount Or at the border of Edom, Aram the priest climbed Mount Or at God's command and died there. It was the first day of the 5th month in the 40th year after the people of Israel had left Egypt, all because they refused to take God at his word and believe him. After all the things that God had done, all the miracles that God had showed them, they still didn't believe God. So they had to wander for 40 years. Who's been wandering, going in circles? Are you believing God? Did you miss it somewhere and decide that you didn't trust God? So now you're just wandering. Seems like you're just going in circles. Aaron was 123 years old when he died on Mount Hor. The Canaanite king of Arad had ruled the Negev of Canaan, heard that the people of Israel had arrived. They left Mount Or and camped at Zalmanah, left Zalmanah and camped at Punon, left Punon and camped at Oboth, left Oboth and camped at Lai Aribrim on the border of Moab, left Lai and camped Liam and camped at Dibon Gad, left Dibon Gad and camped at Almon Lathiam, left Almon Lathiam and camped in the mountains of Abrim across the river within sight of Nebo. After they left the mountains of Abiram, they camped on the plains of Moab at Jordan, Jericho. On the plains of Moab, their camp stretched along the banks of the Jordan from Beth Jerishimoth to Abel Shetham, Acadia Meadow. God spoke to Moses on the plains of Moab at Jordan, Jericho. Tell the people of Israel, when you cross the Jordan into the country of Canaan, drive out the native population before you, destroy their carved idols, destroy their cast images, level the worship mounds so that you take over the land and make yourself at home in it. I've given it to you. It's yours. Divide up the land by lot, causing the size. Divide up the land by lot according to the size of your clans. Large clans will get large tracts of land. Small clans will get a smaller tract of land. However the lot falls, that's it. Divide it up according to your ancestral tribes. But if you don't drive out the native population, everyone you let stay there will become a cinder in your eye and a splinter in your foot. My God, what they do, what you visually see them do, will cause you to be in agony. And then every place your foot treads, it will be hard to walk on because of the pain. A splinter is like, ow, ooh, ow, and you try to get it out, and that little thing just hides from you. They'll give you endless trouble right in your own backyards. And I'll start treating you the way I had planned to treat them. What have you not driven out of your life? All right. Numbers chapter 34. Land inheritance. God spoke to Moses. Command the people of Israel. Tell them, when you enter Canaan, these are the borders of the land you are getting as an inheritance. Your southern border will take in some of the wilderness of Zin, where it touches Edom. It starts in the east at the Dead Sea, curves south of the Scorpion Pass and onto Zin, continues south to Kadesh Barnea, then to Hazar Adar, and onto Asmon, where it takes a turn to the northwest to the brook of Egypt and on the Mediterranean Sea. Your western border will be the Mediterranean Sea. Your northern border runs on a line from the Mediterranean Sea to Mount Hor, and from Mount Hor to Lebo Hamath, connects to Zedad, continues to Zipron, and ends at Hazar Enan. This is your northern border. Your eastern border runs on a line from Hazar Enan to Shepham. Ooh, that was loud. The border goes south from Shaphan to Riblah to the east of Ain and continues along the slopes east of the Sea of Galilee. The border then follows the Jordan River and ends at the Dead Sea. This is your land with its 4 borders. Moses then commanded the people of Israel, this is the land. Divide up the inheritance by lot. God has ordered it to be given to the 9.5 tribes. The tribe of Reuben, the tribe of Gad, and the half tribe of Manasseh have already received their inheritance. The 2 tribes and the half tribe got their inheritance east of Jordan, Jericho, facing the sunrise. God spoke to Moses. These are the men who will be in charge of distributing the inheritance of the land. Eleazar the priest and Joshua son of Nun. Assign 1 leader from each tribe to help them in distributing the land. Assign these. God knows who he wants to do what. Caleb, son of Jephunneh, from the tribe of Judah. Shemiel, son of Ammuhad, from the tribe of Simeon. Eladad, son of Kislon, from the tribe of Benjamin. Buki, son of Jogili, leader from the tribe of Dan. Heniel, son of Ephod, leader from the tribe of Manasseh, son of Joseph. Kimiel, son of Shiptan, leader from the tribe of Ephraim, son of Joseph. Eliphan, son of Parnach, leader from the tribe of Zebulun. Paltiel, son of Azan, leader from the tribe of Issachar. Ahud, son of Shelomi, leader from the tribe of Asher. Pedahel, son of Amuhud, leader from the tribe of Naphtali. These are the men God commanded to hand out the assignments of the land inheritance to the people of Israel in the country of Canaan. Numbers chapter 35, cities for the Levites and asylum cities. Then God spoke to Moses on the plains of Moab at Jordan, Jericho, command the people of Israel to give the Levites as their part of the total inheritance towns to live in. Make sure there is plenty of pasture around the towns. Then they will be well taken care of with towns to live in and pastures for their cattle, flock, and other livestock. The pastures surrounding the Levites' town is to extend 1,500 feet in each direction from the city wall. The outside borders of the pasture are to be measured 3,000 feet on each of the four sides, east, south, west, and north, with the town at the center. Each city will be supplied with pasture. 6 of these towns that you give the Levites will be asylum cities, which anyone who accidentally kills another person may flee for asylum. In addition, you will give them 42 other towns, 48 towns in all, together with their pastures. The towns that you give the Levites from the common inheritance of the people of Israel are to be taken in proportion to the size of each tribe. Many towns from a tribe that has many, few from the tribe that has few. God spoke to Moses, speak to the people of Israel. Tell them, when you cross the river Jordan into the country of Canaan, designate your asylum cities, towns to which a person who accidentally kills someone can flee for asylum. They will be places of refuge from the avenger, so that the alleged murderer won't be killed until he can appear before the community in court. Provide 6 asylum cities. Designate 3 of the towns to the east side of the Jordan, the other 3 in Canaan proper. Asylum cities for the people of Israel, for the foreigner, and for any occasional visitor or guest. 6 asylum cities to run to for anyone who accidentally kills another. But if the killer has used an iron object, that's just plain murder. He's obviously a murderer and must be put to death. Or if he has a rock in his hand big enough to kill and the man dies, that's a murderer. He's a murderer and he must be put to death. Or if he's carrying a wooden club heavy enough to kill and the man dies, that's a murderer. He's a murderer and he must be put to death. In such cases, the avenger has a right to kill the murderer when he meets him. He can kill him on the spot. And if out of sheer hatred, a man pushes another, or from ambush throws something at him and he dies, or angrily hits him with his fist and kills him, that's a murderer. He must be put to death. The avenger has a right to kill him when he gets him. If, however, he impulsively pushes someone and there is no history of hard feelings, or he impetuously picks up something and throws it, or he accidentally drops a stone tool, a maul, or a hammer, say, and it hits and kills someone he didn't even know that was there, and there's no suspicion that there was bad blood between them, the community is to judge between the killer and the avenger following these guidelines. If it's the task of the community to save the killer from the hand of the avenger, the community is to return him to his asylum city to which he fled. He must stay there until the death of the high priest who was anointed with the holy oil. But if the murderer leaves the asylum city to which he has fled, and the avenger finds him outside the borders of his asylum city, the avenger has the right to kill the murderer. He is not considered guilty of murder. So it's important that he stay in his asylum city until the death of the high priest. After the death of the high priest, he is free to return to his own place. These are the procedures for making These are the procedures for making judgments for now on wherever you live. Anyone who kills another may be executed only on the testimony of eyewitnesses, but no one can be executed on the testimony of only one witness. Don't you see how our legal system is set up? Most legal systems in all places of the world. Don't accept bribe money in exchange for the life of a murderer. He's guilty and deserves the death penalty. Put him to death. And don't accept bribe money for anyone who has fled to an asylum city so as to permit him to go back and live in his own place before the death of the high priest. Don't pollute the land in which you live. Murder pollutes. You hear this? Murder pollutes the land. The land can't be cleaned up from the blood of murder except through the blood of the murderer. Don't desecrate the land in which you live. I live here too. I, God, live in the same neighborhood with the people of Israel. What? You see that? That's good. I'm going to highlight that. I should have highlighted that the first time. All right, here we go. And our last chapter for the book of Numbers, Numbers chapter 36. The heads of the ancestral clan of Gilead, son of Machir, the son of Manasseh, they were from the clans of the descendants of Joseph, approached Moses and the leaders who were the heads of the families and the people of Israel. They said, when God commanded my master to hand over the inheritance land by lot to the people of Israel, my master was also commanded by God to hand over the inheritance land of Zelophehad, our brother, to his daughters. But what happens if they marry into another tribe in the people of Israel? Their inheritance land will be taken out of our ancestral tribe and get added into the tribe into which they married. And then when the year of Jubilee comes for all the people of Israel, their inheritance will be lumped in with the inheritance of the tribe into which they married. Their land will be removed from our ancestors' inheritance. Moses, at God's command, issued this order to the people of Israel. What the tribe of the sons of Joseph says is right. This is God's command to Zelophehad's daughters. They are free to marry anyone they choose as long as they marry within their ancestral clan. The inheritance land of the people of Israel must not get passed around from tribe to tribe. No, keep the tribal inheritance land in the family. Every daughter who inherits land, regardless of the tribe she is in, must marry a man from within her father's tribal clan. Every Israelite is responsible for making sure the inheritance stays within the ancestral tribe. No inheritance land may be passed from tribe to tribe. Each tribe of the people of Israel must hold tight to its own land. Zelophehad's daughters did just as God commanded Moses. Mahlah, Tisra, Hoglah, Milkiah, and Noah, Zelophehad's daughters, all married their cousins on their father's side. They married within the families of Manasseh, son of Joseph, and their inheritance land stayed in their father's family. These are the commands and regulations that God commanded through the authority of Moses to the people of Israel on the plains of Moab at Jordan, Jericho. We have just finished the book of Numbers. We will be back on. If not tomorrow, we'll be back on Monday, starting the book of Isaiah. Thank you so much for joining with us. We are just about done. We are down to our last 5 books. And these are 5 books that are going to bless our lives. All right? So let's keep going. You push this far, push just a little bit further. Because let me tell you something. God is doing something in your life tremendous, and it's beautiful because he's putting the foundation of his word on your life. You are building a solid foundation. So the winds of life may come. People may try to knock you off and try to get you to follow their beliefs. But let me tell you something. When you have the Spirit of God residing within you and the Word of God fortifying what God has planted in your heart, you cannot be swayed by trials. You cannot be swayed by people because you know your God. All right? That's why it's important that you know this word. My God, it's a beautiful thing that you're doing. And I'm so grateful that God gave me this assignment to do with you. So thank you all for coming on and watching Face-to-Face Conversations with God as we read the word of the Lord together. And Holy Spirit ministers to each of us. We're all on different levels, and he's dealing with us each right where we are. And that's what I love about the word of God. You're going to read this word over and over. And every time you read it, you'll get more out of it than what you got the first time you read it. Okay? So thank you so much. We'll be back on starting the book of Isaiah. I love you all. Bye-bye.